Imagine a world where your service, your sacrifice, means nothing, where the uniform you once wore is replaced by tattered rags, and the respect you earned is replaced by disdain. That's the reality for many, and it was about to become the nightmare of Sergeant Avery Sparrow Jones. But what these officers didn't know was that Sparrow's voice still carried the weight of command, and her old commander was about to unleash a storm they couldn't possibly imagine. The cold, unforgiving asphalt of Union City's back alleys became a stage for cruelty. Avery Sparrow Jones, a woman whose eyes held the haunted echoes of war, huddled under a thin, threadbare blanket. Once a decorated combat medic, her life had taken a devastating turn, leaving her homeless and forgotten. Officers Hayes and Diaz, their badges reflecting the cold light of the street lamps, approached her with a sneer. "Move along, trash," Hayes barked, kicking at her meager belongings. "You're ruining the scenery." Sparrow, her voice raspy but firm, tried to reason. "Just need a place to rest, officers. I'll be gone before sunrise," Diaz scoffed. "You don't get to dictate terms here. Get up and disappear." Their words, laced with contempt and a hint of something more sinister, escalated. Sparrow, her patience wearing thin, felt a familiar surge of defiance. "You have no idea who you're talking to," she warned, her eyes flashing with a dangerous intensity. Hayes chuckled. Yeah, we hear that all the time. Now vanish." But Sparrow wasn't bluffing. She reached into her worn backpack and pulled out a battered, old military-grade communication device. Her fingers, calloused and steady, dialed a number etched into her memory. "General," she said, her voice regaining its military crispness. "It's Sparrow. I need immediate assistance." Hayes and Diaz exchanged bewildered glances. Who was she calling? And why did she call her General? "What general, crazy lady?" Diaz sneered. "General Sierra Vance," Sparrow replied, her gaze unwavering. 4-star United States Air Force. The officers' faces turned ashen. They knew that name. General Vance was a legend, a force to be reckoned with. And this homeless woman? She was calling her old comrade. Before we continue this gripping tale, make sure to subscribe. You won't want to miss the storm that's about to break. The device crackled, and a voice, sharp and commanding, echoed through the speaker. "Sparrow, where in the hell are you? What's happening?" Sparrow, her voice filled with a mix of relief and determined resolve, recounted her ordeal, detailing the officer's abuse and the systemic neglect she had witnessed. General Vance's response was immediate and decisive. "Give me their badge numbers. I'm taking care of this." Hayes and Diaz, their swagger evaporating, stammered in response. They had stepped into a viper's nest. Within minutes, their radios erupted with a furious voice. "Officers Hayes and Diaz, report to Internal Affairs immediately. You are suspended pending an investigation." The officers, their faces flushed with fear and disbelief, were led away in handcuffs. Sparrow, her eyes burning with a quiet victory, watched them go. General Vance arrived, her presence radiating power and authority. She embraced Sparrow, her eyes filled with a mix of concern and fierce protectiveness. "Sparrow, what happened? Why are you in this state?" Sparrow, her voice filled with a mix of gratitude and raw emotion, recounted her fall, the struggles she had faced, and the systemic neglect that had left her on the streets. General Vance listened, her expression hardening. General Vance, her eyes blazing with righteous fury, vowed to expose the corruption within the police force and help Sparrow rebuild her life. She used her vast network and ironclad reputation to launch a full-scale investigation, uncovering a web of abuse that targeted the most vulnerable members of society. Sparrow, her spirit rekindled, became an invaluable asset, providing first-hand accounts and insights into the officers' tactics and the systemic failures that allowed them to operate with impunity. She became a symbol of resilience, a warrior fighting a new kind of battle. As the investigation deepened, they uncovered a conspiracy that reached far beyond the rogue officers. They found evidence of a network of corrupt officials, profiting from the suffering of the homeless and the marginalized. The stakes escalated, the danger intensified. They were challenging a system that thrived on exploitation and silence. They were exposing secrets that powerful people would kill to keep hidden. The tension reached a fever pitch as the investigation neared its conclusion. They faced threats, intimidation, and attempts to silence them, but Sparrow, her resolve forged in the fires of combat, refused to yield. She was fighting for justice, for dignity, for a world where the vulnerable were protected, not preyed upon. The trial became a media spectacle, a clash between the forces of corruption and the champions of justice. Sparrow's testimony, raw and unyielding, exposed the officer's brutality and the systemic rot that had allowed it to fester. General Vance, her reputation and legacy on the line, delivered a blistering closing argument demanding accountability and reform. As the trial reached its climax and the public held its breath for the verdict, a shocking revelation surfaced. A hidden recording, discovered amidst the digital evidence, revealed a chilling secret. General Vance, it turned out, had a complex and deeply personal connection to the corrupt officials. They were not just random figures in a corrupt system. They were former comrades, members of her elite unit, individuals she had trusted and relied upon during her most dangerous missions. The recording, a clandestine conversation between General Vance and a high-ranking city official, hinted at a past operation gone wrong, an operation that had left scars on all involved. The corrupt officials, it seemed, were using their positions to cover up the mistakes of that operation, mistakes that General Vance herself had played a role in. The revelation shattered the carefully constructed image of General Vance as a champion of justice. It cast a dark shadow over her motives, raising questions about her true intentions. Was she seeking justice, or was she trying to bury the past? Sparrow, her heart filled with a mix of betrayal and confusion, confronted General Vance. "Why?" she demanded, her voice trembling with emotion. "Why didn't you tell me?" General Vance, her face etched with pain and regret, struggled to explain. "It was a mistake," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "A mistake we all made. I thought I could fix it, make amends, but I was wrong." The revelation threatened to derail the entire investigation, to undermine their credibility, and to expose the deep-seated corruption that had festered for years. But Sparrow, her resolve tempered by her own experiences, refused to let the truth be buried. "We can't stop now," she declared, her voice filled with a quiet strength. "We have to expose them, all of them, even you, General." General Vance, her eyes filled with a mix of shame and admiration, nodded in agreement. "You're right, Sparrow. We have to finish what we started, no matter the cost." The trial took a dramatic turn, becoming a battle not just against corrupt officials, but against the very system that had allowed them to thrive. Sparrow and General Vance, their alliance strained but unbroken, faced a formidable enemy, an enemy that would stop at nothing to protect its secrets. The stakes were higher than ever. The truth was a dangerous weapon, and they were about to unleash it on a world that wasn't ready for the consequences. The courtroom was a battleground, a clash of titans. Sparrow, her voice raw with truth, laid bare the systemic corruption, the exploitation of the vulnerable, and the dark secrets that had festered within the city's power structure. General Vance, her reputation in tatters, her past mistakes laid bare, stood beside her, a stark symbol of redemption and accountability. The hidden recording, once a weapon of blackmail, became a tool of truth. It exposed the corrupt officials' network, their web of deceit, and their attempts to silence those who dared to challenge them. It also revealed General Vance's complicity, her misguided attempt to atone for past sins by manipulating the present. The trial was a spectacle, a public reckoning that forced the city to confront its own darkness. The media frenzy was relentless, the public outcry deafening. The pressure mounted on the jury, on the judge, on the very foundations of the justice system. The verdict was a seismic shift. The corrupt officials, their power shattered, were found guilty on all counts. Their network was dismantled, their ill-gotten gains seized, and their influence eradicated. General Vance, facing the consequences of her actions, was convicted of obstruction of justice and abuse of power. Her legacy was tarnished, but her commitment to justice, however flawed, was undeniable. But the true victory belonged to Sparrow. Her resilience, her unwavering pursuit of truth, had ignited a revolution. The city, shaken to its core, began to rebuild, to reform, to create a system that served all its citizens, not just the privileged few. Sparrow, her name now synonymous with courage and justice, became a beacon of hope for the marginalized. She established a foundation to support homeless veterans, providing them with shelter, resources, and a voice. She became a symbol of empowerment, a testament to the power of one individual to challenge a corrupt system and ignite lasting change. General Vance, her reputation forever altered, dedicated her remaining years to advocating for systemic reform. She used her experience, her knowledge of the system's flaws, to dismantle the structures that allowed corruption to thrive. She became a reluctant hero, a symbol of redemption and the possibility of change, even for those who had strayed from the path of justice. The alleyways of Union City, once a symbol of despair, became a testament to hope. The city, transformed by Sparrow's courage and General Vance's redemption, became a model for other communities, a reminder that even in the darkest corners of society, the human spirit, when ignited by truth and justice, could prevail. And so the story of Sparrow and General Vance became a legend, a reminder that true heroism often goes unnoticed, that justice is a hard-won battle, and that even the most broken among us can rise to become the champions of change. The city of Union City, once a breeding ground for corruption and despair, underwent a remarkable transformation. Sparrow's foundation, Phoenix Rising, became a beacon of hope for homeless veterans, providing not only shelter and resources, but also a community of support and understanding. Her tireless advocacy led to sweeping reforms within the police force, ensuring that the vulnerable were treated with dignity and respect. General Vance, her past mistakes serving as a stark reminder of the system's flaws, became a powerful advocate for systemic change. She worked alongside Sparrow, using her knowledge of the inner workings of power to dismantle the structures that had allowed corruption to thrive. Together, they became a formidable force, a symbol of redemption and the power of unlikely alliances. The alleyways of Union City, once symbols of despair, transformed into vibrant community spaces filled with art, music, and the laughter of those who had found a second chance. The city's parks, once neglected and dangerous, became safe havens where veterans and civilians alike could find solace and connection. Sparrow, her heart filled with a quiet joy, found a home in the community she had helped to rebuild. She became a mentor to other veterans, sharing her experiences and offering them hope. She found love and companionship, building a family that embraced her past and celebrated her resilience. General Vance, her legacy redefined by her commitment to justice, found peace in her newfound purpose. She became a beloved figure in the city, her wisdom and experience sought after by community leaders and activists. She found solace in her friendship with Sparrow, a bond forged in the fires of adversity. Years later, Union City held a grand celebration, a testament to the transformative power of their actions. The city's leaders, recognizing their contributions, unveiled a monument in their honor, a symbol of courage, resilience, and the enduring power of the human spirit. Sparrow and General Vance, standing side by side, watched as the city celebrated their triumph. They had faced darkness and emerged stronger, their lives forever intertwined by a shared commitment to justice. They had found redemption in their actions, purpose in their struggles, and happiness in their unwavering belief in the power of change. The city of Union City, once a symbol of despair, became a beacon of hope, a testament to the enduring power of human connection and the transformative potential of justice. And the story of Sparrow and General Vance, the unlikely heroes who had dared to challenge a corrupt system, became a legend, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, the human spirit, when ignited by courage and compassion, could create a world where justice prevailed and hope flourished.